Intro starts in 3, 2, 1. Clap. Welcome to another episode of ThirdCultureKit. I'm your host, Yona. And joining me today is Emina.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. She's a 28-year-old American-born Bosnian. She spent her childhood in the States until she was 10.
Yes, 10 years old.
10 years old, and then she moved to Bosnia, to a small town. Right, so completely new life, completely new lifestyle, different culture, different continent.
Everything completely different. Yeah, so basically from family town in the US, that's called Vancouver.
So did you live this typical suburban lifestyle in the US that people imagine? Like,
I would say yes, it was.
so you lived in a house and
Not a house, but an apartment.
Mhm.
But what's very what I can remember that is that the apartments were quite big. So we had a 2-story apartment with
Oh, really?
with spiraling
with a staircase.
staircase, yeah.
In between.
And there was a gallery, and everyone
wow.
had their own bedroom. It was quite big, so that again, it's an apartment but American style. Yeah, I would say you're right. So very typical American life until I was 10 years old, and then obviously English speaking, moved to a super small town in Bosnia that is called Donji Vakuf.
Nice. Yeah, we'll come to your Bosnian actually part of your life a bit later. But when we look back at your time in the US, do you still remember your school days, childhoods that you spent there? I mean, you were 10 years old. I think I'm pretty sure you have some fun memories from the time
Yes,
back.
I think I also remember in general a bit more than I would have because we moved and because I missed it so much that I was just.
What was your most memorable, like, how do you say?
Memorable memory?
Yeah, memorable memory that you had.
My most memorable memory? So there are plenty, but something I would say that really stands out to me is that I owned hermit crabs as pet animals because it's the US, so they were accessible, I guess. And then I loved animals a lot.
Mhm.
And yeah, this is also a strong memory because I ached to have a dog or a pet. And it simply wasn't possible with this American lifestyle of a single mother, which was the case in my family, with 2 children in the United States, working full-time.
Okay.
And having kids. So it was nearly impossible to have a dog on top of that.
So you decided on her.
So the alternative was
what was the other option? A spider?
Actually goldfish. But they didn't.
They're quite boring.
They're quite boring. Hermit crabs are actually very fun to have.
Yes, I heard that many times.
Oh, so we had goldfish, but they didn't live long. And I think it was because I played with them outside of the water at some point.
Yeah, well, makes sense, right?
But I was super young.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had goldfish.
Take him for a walk.
Yeah. That's when it came to kind of the living cell. So no time for a proper pet. Because, right, my mom was working, and then this lifestyle is that.
What did your mom work actually?
So she, in the US, she had many jobs.
Yeah. When
she started, I remember her telling me that she worked in some kind of chemical lab, where she obviously had nothing to do with chemistry because she studied architecture in Bosnia before she moved to the United States. But she was basically transferring some kind of materials inside a chemical lab, and she had to wear suits. And then she worked for a sewing company.
Oh,
so
really?
like backpacks, clothes. She even made me a backpack that I had for I don't know how many years. And then she finally ended up being a translator because she knew English. She learned it in high school during university. Also a bit of Russian and then Bosnian, Serbian, Croatian.
Yeah.
And she was one of the very few people, war refugees, that actually spoke English, because on the other hand, they needed translators.
Yeah.
But then you had my mother, who was also a war refugee herself, but spoke also English and Bosnian. So she worked as a translator, and obviously, like in the time, this was 96, 97, you didn't have as much as you have now for easier translations. So workers were really needed, and on-site workers, like in healthcare, etc. So that's how she met most of the community. Let's say all of the community knew.
Okay.
Because she was just super popular, like translating for everyone, helping them go to the doctors, and
doing this actually like you would consider this maybe just everyday help, just trying to navigate through everyday life, right? Actually translating
basically,
this and that.
but also mainly like healthcare, because she obviously didn't know a lot of medical terminology, in English specifically. So I remember her to this day studying and having books of medical terminology in English, because
so she can help out and then translate this. It's pretty insane, actually.
Yeah. And she worked there for all of what I can remember. So these previous jobs, I don't even remember them. I was way too little.
Okay.
But the job that I remember, like her boss, all of her work colleagues, me going to her work and then locking everyone inside because I was playing with the key of the building, and I couldn't
What a great child.
I was a terrible child. I was really a lot to deal with. So I remember that workplace, and everyone remembers me, I'm pretty sure.
How come? Oh, that's the girl who locked us up. That's her. Yeah, that's the thing, right? So your mom basically, the reason why you were born in the US, because your mom moves right after the Bosnian War.
Yeah, so looking back at it, like understanding my mother and some of her choices later on, she basically went post-war knowing that the situation in Bosnia wasn't an amazing living situation. So she took the opportunity to leave. But I remember her always telling me, like, I'm in the plane with your sister, and I know that I'm going away, but at the same time, I know that I'm going back.
At some point.
And I feel like all war refugees had this kind of state of mind that it's a temporary solution for a better life for some couple of years, and that everything will work out, and then we will move back to Bosnia, and she will live the life.
So high hopes that everything's gonna be back to normal at some point.
Yes, super, super high hopes.
But when you were growing up in the US as a child, at one point, did you know that, or you were aware of that actually my mom's a refugee and this kind of background that you guys had?
In my case, absolutely yes. Like my sister and I were 100% aware of the entire situation, but what I think might not be the case for some other children born post-war that moved somewhere else. With us, it was a bit different because we were really alone. And I think this is what really sticks to my mind of memories from the US, is that we were super special and unique, that my mom was all alone with the two of us. So there were no other family members that moved away with us. Everyone else was in Bosnia, except for another family that also moved to Australia. So they went on one end, we went on the other end. And we were really close with our family. So we would basically go there every 2 years and spend 2 or 3 months in Bosnia, which was super nice because my mom was able to do that work-wise. She had a really great relationship with her boss and a really nice job. So we picked up Bosnian quickly. We were very close with our grandparents, and it was because of my grandmother. She was a storyteller. She loved to talk a lot. And she loved to tell stories.
Lovely, yeah.
The good and the bad. She always kept it in a way that was understandable and not like going too far with some details that weren't really appropriate for a child, but still making you well aware of the situation. And on the other hand, I love to ask questions. So
you're curious about...
I learned a lot very early on, and I was very conscious about my mom's living situation also after the fact. I mean, there was the war, and then she became single, and she really wanted to go back and never went there to stay permanently.
Okay. It was always the plan that she returns.
Yes, and I think this was the plan of all the majority of war refugees. They had this idea that it's a temporary solution. You need to just kind of get out of there, build a life for yourself, earn some money, and come back. But many people never actually came back because they ended up living a very good life elsewhere, and then they didn't want to sacrifice what they had for a maybe better life, maybe not. And there's actually something that people say in Bosnia is that whoever left and stayed anywhere longer than 10 years will never come back. But my mom definitely beat that score because she
probably she knew like after 10 years she has to decide either she leaves or she stays, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's common. I mean, if you leave and then you land up in a new country and you build something out of scratch, and I think you invested so much, and then what if you really built it something for yourself, for your family, and it's also tough just to give this up and then really, like as you said, return and maybe something for something better, maybe not. I think it's a very bold move to do, actually, right?
No, I would agree. You put that very nicely. I think also one thing that really pushed her decision was her college degree, which not many people at the time had in Bosnia.
Yeah.
She was very persistent. She graduated from college. She had a degree. She had goals, career goals, very clear ones. And so she thought it would be great to move back and actually work in her field, be with her family, have much more support in raising us.
Raising children, yeah, of course.
Than we did there, because you have to imagine we were in... ever since I was a baby, it was like preschool. First it was daycare, then it was preschool, then it was daycare before school, daycare after school, and school. So we would see our mom in the evening
when she comes home from work.
And when she picks us up from daycare, basically. Okay. So we go from school to daycare, and then you're there for... And even before school, she would drive us to daycare because she already had to be on her way to work.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was for her...
It's an American lifestyle.
Yeah. And then you have to compare that to a lifestyle in Bosnia where anyone can help you. Like, people are exchanging children like it's nothing. Like, I hear stories from my cousins growing up in my grandparents' house.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then my mom living somewhere in someone else's house. And it was just, you're just super connected.
Sounds a bit like my mom actually grew up in Korea, where like there was no clear line. It's just like everyone, my grandma, mom's side grandma raised my cousins also, and it's very much...
Everyone belongs to everyone.
Yeah, basically. And your grandma or your grandparents are basically the center of everything, and this is just what everything's built around.
That's exactly, you put that very well into words. That's exactly how it was.
Interesting. Yeah, but how was it being in Bosnia then, moving all the way? I mean, it's a different world, right? I mean...
Yeah, so you know the term swimming with sharks?
Yeah. Of course. In your case, it's playing with hermit crabs.
Yeah, we were playing with hermit crabs. No, it was chaos. It was mental chaos for everyone. It was way more difficult than anyone expected it to be. I mean, for the 10 years that I lived in the US, we went to Bosnia every summer, every 2 summers actually, so every 2 years. And we would stay there for about 2 months.
So the whole summer, basically, the whole summertime, and then...
Yeah, and also my grandparents visited once. Just a funny story also about something that I remember very dearly about the US. So my grandparents come. It was my grandfather's first time. My grandmother had already been once before, but this time I don't even remember. I was 2 years old. But they came later when I was 7 or 8. Yeah. And my grandfather was a super, super funny guy, but also super independent and just loved being alone at certain points. Even though he's with family and he's in the United States visiting his daughter, he still decides to just roam around Vancouver on his own, with obviously no phone, no way to contact him, no English. He knew thank you. Hello?
What more do you need?
What more do you need?
A bit of cash. It's fine. It's the US.
If even. Actually, maybe he had some dollars. But yeah, we were in the apartment and he just decided to go for a walk. And my mom said, why not? There's parks. So in Vancouver, it's very dangerous, or in the US, it's dangerous to kind of roam around, especially these family towns that are just neighborhoods. People don't really walk. They sit in a car and you drive to a store.
Yeah.
And it's also very far away. So this is 3-4 kilometers walking away from your apartment.
I think I remember what you mean, because I used to spend the summer at my aunt's place in California, in Sacramento. I think it's exactly what it was, like suburbs. You cannot go anywhere without a car, and I think there was just a school, walking distance, and then nothing else.
Absolutely nothing.
So you just don't walk, because you would walk for several hours to go places, so you just drive, right?
You just drive, and it's also quite scary to walk because no one's on the street. And to me, at least, the feeling is super scary that you're just walking somewhere and there's no one, not a single soul. But for my grandfather, there was no problem at all. Absolutely zero issue. So his walk to, which was supposed to be a walk to the park, ended up being a walk all the way to a McDonald's that was maybe 5 kilometers away. 4, I don't know. I was a child. I just remember panic. He's not back yet. He's not back. And just complete panic. And then my mother panicking so much because there's no way to get to him. And we all know him because he does this in Bosnia. But in Bosnia, he goes anywhere and you meet another person and they tell you that just they saw him because it's so small and there are people everywhere. So you just have to go out on the street and ask someone, and someone will know where he is. It's just a different life. So we get in the car and we start driving around. How? So we were looking for my grandfather.
So we were looking for him, basically.
Obviously super paranoid and scared. And I really don't remember the details because I was quite young, but I also remember it more from my family telling me the story. And I just remember that they found him, someone spotted him going through McDonald's drive-thru, trying to order food.
That's cute, actually.
And I don't know what happened next. I guess we got him and brought him home, but we found him.
But he managed to order.
I don't really know what happened. I don't think so. I think they were also kind of confused, and then they saw it was a grandpa because he didn't speak English also. So I think
so they thought they might be just confused.
Super confused. Yeah, I guess.
But it would have been nice if you managed to get food actually walking through the drive-thru.
That would have been so cool. I would have such a story to tell.
Yeah.
My grandfather went through McDonald's drive-thru on foot.
So we all can do that.
But back to the phase in Bosnia. I have to say the first year was really hard.
What's the town you guys moved to where your mom is from?
It's a very cute town, and it is a town. Not too small, not too big, let's put it that way. And it's called Donji Vakov. So for anyone that's from Bosnia, they've probably heard of it. Okay. That's where our grandparents lived, and therefore we moved. Also my uncle and his family, so he has 2 sons. And we moved there, and we lived with our grandparents in their bedroom for the first year.
Oh, wow.
My mom, my sister, and I. And my grandparents moved to the living room.
So this was your living condition for a year, basically?
Yes, that was the first year living condition. While my mom didn't have a fixed job before she moved. She was still looking, and she explored options. I remember over the summer, she left for 2 months to go to Switzerland.
Oh, okay.
She was applying for jobs there. And funny story, just now, when I went in April, I found one of her motivation letters for a job in Switzerland. In German.
Nice. To be honest with you, similar stories about my father when he came here. So dad was always present there. He was around, of course, but at this age you realize how much your parents are doing, basically, right? Because you're not pretty much aware. And I also found a lot of letters my dad did and writings in German, actually, the motivation why he left Korea and all this kind of thing. Super interesting. Just that you never got hands on it, he never told us when we were younger, and you just find these things. Super interesting.
Yeah, so for my mom, she also wasn't really a talker herself. Yeah. She didn't share much of her thoughts, and she just kept everything to herself. So a lot of the things I know was either from my grandmother or documents that I find in the house. And things that I read.
Job applications in German.
Even
Random.
I also found her war refugee first photo for
Wow.
for the immigration to the United States. I found this, and then I was like, oh wow, this really happened. This in this year. So like finding the evidence was key to learning more about my mother.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like they don't tell you. It's just like you find out in some different kind of ways. Finding clues, finding documents, finding pictures, where you just then connect the dots. Oh, this is what they went through.
Yeah.
Interesting. How good was your Bosnian? Oh, guys, is Bosnian then?
We could communicate. Reading and writing didn't work.
Okay.
We could not read and write. I'm sure we had some tutoring over the summer, but it was useless to an American child trying to explain how to read and write in Bosnian. And then cursive was also a bit different, I would say. So the memories from the US is I loved school so much. School was based on activities and learning through activities and games. And then we're in a system where it's quite the opposite. So you're just sitting and writing down everything that you will have to study for hours later, and you're 10 years old and you have exams. I had no idea what an exam was, basically. We didn't do any math in the US. So I remember we started learning in the 3rd grade.
What do you mean you didn't have any math?
We didn't really have math, like basic game calculations. So you were playing all the time.
You have 3 apples, and if you take...
Exactly. Okay. Basically like this.
So you didn't have any exams until you were 10 years old in the US, not even?
I never had an exam. So the only exams I did was in the US when we had like, what do you say, when there was for special students, like overachievers, that you would have a specific exam to go through competitions, etc. So I was put into this. And that was the only type of exam I had. So really in school, it was more interactive, like writing essays or talking to the teachers, and then they would evaluate, give you a star, and so on. Like, really.
You're a star. Thank you.
That's how it was. I remember I would get super sad if my star was taken away from me because I was running during playtime or something.
Well, fair enough. I would say that. I give that star back. I have to say, but then coming from that into maybe more, I would say, European kind of style school system where you do have
very European
exams.
And not even at least more international kind of school, maybe in the capital. But I'm talking about a very small town that didn't have the resources or any previous experiments. Hopefully not.
It was an experiment with you guys. Experimental.
Hopefully not. But they didn't have previous experience with children like me. So I was a guinea pig.
You were a guinea pig. And thanks to you, whenever there's going to be a person from the US in your hometown going to school, they know, hey guys, bring out the Emina case. Your documents, everything. What did we do back then? Nothing.
Yeah, whatever we did, do the opposite.
Do the opposite. Didn't work.
It didn't work.
No, it did work. Obviously.
No, we turned out fine. I have to say.
But it was a struggle, right? So
no, I remember times where I was in class and I couldn't follow. And it felt terrible, so I just started crying.
Okay.
And then I had to walk in, because then the teacher called me out, and I had to walk in front of the entire classroom, sobbing in front of the board, explaining to her that I just don't understand what's going on.
Oh, no.
And the question was, I can't take it.
Can you please? The question was, are you okay?
I was begging her to just let me go home. Really, and in Bosnian, it sounds like super funny the way you say, like, moram kući, hoću kući. It means I want to go home. Please, can I go home? And she was like, no, you cannot. You know, my job is to have you in school.
Yeah.
I need a proper excuse to.
I don't care if you cry. You just have to be here.
The fun, like, she wasn't mean or
answer me now.
Yeah, I was really lots of crying during the first year, but then I have to say it got much better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I cannot imagine. It must be very difficult. Yeah, it's like you basically you feel that you on your own, you have to go through it. No one's really there to help you the way you probably needed it at the time. And just have to make it in a certain way. I think it's very difficult. But so for your sister, it was a bit more difficult, I suppose, because she was older.
Oh, she had it much worse. I'm just gonna put it that way. Like, kudos to her, seriously.
Say, I want to go back to the US, not home. I want to go back to the
And that actually was the case. So she was a lot more persistent in trying to push to move back to the US than I was, because for me it was the first year. But then I learned the language and I learned Cyrillic and I made friends and I was good to go because I was much younger and school was easier and I had more time to catch up, I would say. I had a head start compared to my sister, but she was really thrown into 7th grade with physics and chemistry.
Like literally in the middle of teenage times.
Yeah,
it's even more
puberty
difficult.
as well.
Puberty,
like, super crazy times for her.
Crazy.
School was the major struggle. I don't think making friends was a big an issue. Everyone was super lovely. However, I would say that it was different for my sister and I because of the age difference and because of the war. Now, let me explain. But it's actually really important because my sister was born during the war, meaning that her generation, so the birth rate during these years was very low. So there weren't many students. So when we were coming over during the summer, we didn't have anyone around us, living around us, that was her age. They were all my age. So I went into this 4th grade knowing already so many of the girls.
Okay, because you used to play with them in the summer.
Because I used to play with them. And I knew them for years. And also my cousin.
You knew already the kids there, okay. And
I knew them, yeah. But my sister had it the other way, more that also it was the puberty time, 7th grade. So they were really kind of looking at her differently, like you described, and not befriending her.
Okay, like she's a bit of an outsider.
Yeah, and then she didn't have much room to network because they were.
That was it.
30,
that was the only chance.
30. I think it was up to 30, not even 24, 25 children with her
age range.
In gymnasium or so, or also.
Yeah, I think this is not easy. That's tough.
So it was 2 different experiences.
I see. But when you think about it, like culturally, though, apart from language, what is for you the most difficulties when you like the struggle you most when it comes to Bosnian culture? Or what would you say?
I think there were many small things. I don't think there was one big thing. But in the end, it was like I really adapted quite well, I would say. I really enjoyed my life there. I had really great friends. I cherished the years that I got to spend with my grandparents, regardless of how culturally different I might have felt throughout some years.
Yeah.
So I don't think there was anything major. What I struggled with the most was a lack of opportunity for my standards and for what I wanted. And maybe it was because I wasn't a very loud person.
Yeah.
But I think this goes for maybe any country. Like you have to have connections, you have to be loud to really make it. I want to take a silent path, but have a strong outcome where I don't have to know people or that my parents know someone that knows someone and then I can eventually have a good job. I really wanted to do it all on my own. And I felt like this was impossible in Bosnia. I really didn't feel like I could just do it there. And what I respect going somewhere else is what it felt like for me. It doesn't matter who you are. All they care is how good you are.
Okay.
And that pushed me to just do as best as I could during university, but then leave as soon as possible.
Okay, just get out of there.
Just get out of there. And I'm not saying this is that in the sense that that's the only option you have, because I have to say I have a lot of friends with Bosnian passports, Bosnian born and raised that have made it. And there are many stories like this.
What do you mean for yourself? You just didn't say.
But it's specific to my situation that I wanted to get out of there because I had a U.S. passport. I knew I could go somewhere. It was much more easier for me.
You had options to be somewhere else.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But would you say that in Bosnia it is still like this, according to what you've just? I mean, you haven't lived there for a long time now,
So finding work there, I wouldn't know because I didn't experience it. I definitely left as soon as I needed to start looking for a job. But I would say yes. I would say it's still like this. And I would say you can make it, but it's really difficult.
Yeah.
And you have all the obstacles present.
So one thing that I'm curious is also this whole topic about like generational trauma regarding the war in Bosnia. How was it for you? Because you spent your time in Bosnia, and what was your experience? How much were you confronted with this?
I mean, for sure. So the war and the marks of the war are present and they will never leave.
Yeah.
This is forever. It does for sure affect anyone born after the war, during the war, and then growing up just listening to war stories. And the timeline in Bosnia is defined as post-war and pre-war. So there's no other timeline people talk about. So it's like, before the war there was this and that, and then after the war there was this and that, and everything is centered around what happened, which I can understand because there's just no other outcome of it. It's just how it's always going to be. And there definitely are consequences for people born after the war and how they live their lives today, highly influenced by what happened in these years. And yes, definitely a lot of depression in the country. A lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of negativity that I tried to break through. But for me, the solution was leaving, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's how I found my way out of not being sucked into all of the anxiety and negativity, which I can understand why it's there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But then I also need to look out for myself and try to have a different mindset, at least as much as I can.
Could you imagine living in Bosnia at some point again in the future?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's a definite no.
So you detached, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, many reasons, not just because it's post-war, no opportunity. I think this for me is in the past. Also because now I have, let's say, achieved what I wanted to, in the sense of getting a master's degree, and then I moved back to the US on my own after I finished my bachelor's in Bosnia. Like I said, I really wanted to leave, so I gained work experience. I really
you lived in the US again.
I lived in the US again, and then I worked, and I've been working also in Vienna, so I have work experience. And I think with this, I could also ultimately find a good job in Bosnia.
Yeah.
But I still don't think that due to other circumstances and factors that I would just be able to incorporate myself back in that lifestyle, especially because I haven't been there for so long. And I think this nostalgia and the heartbreak that goes after moving your country, like moving away from your country, for me, it's kind of gone. I have to admit, it was really hard, and it just got easier and easier with every year that I've been away.
Yeah.
And I have learned to tell myself, no matter how much you think about it, just don't do it. Just don't do it.
Okay, because you already know how you're gonna feel about this at the end, you know.
Yes. Okay. Like the ultimate outcome. And I think also something that really supports me into thinking like this is also my mom, who for years was longing to move back. And this was her whole life goal after the war, just move back. And for years, she was obviously proud of her decision. And to this day, it was still a good decision and everything worked out well. But even when it came to the point that she said, just don't come back. It's not worth it. Don't even try.
Yeah, sure.
Then I can really understand that,
Okay.
that things have changed.
Yeah.
And then again, it's also personal. Like there are people who have lived away and then moved back and also living a very happy life.
Yeah.
So it's different for everyone still.
It's also like, yeah, of course, depends like what kind of experience they had, what opportunities they have.
Yeah.
You know, can be different from person to
It's
person.
very multidimensional.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and now you're in Vienna.
Yeah, fun fact. Now I live in Vienna, Austria.
Now you live in Vienna, Austria. And basically, anyways, it's you know that there's so many Balkan people.
Not too many, actually. I wouldn't have noticed.
Right? So you don't have to go far away to meet fellow Bosnians.
No, so like I moved I was first in the US for a year, and then I decided I don't want to be there. So what do I do with my life? I can't go back to Bosnia. I don't want to stay in the US.
So somewhere in between.
Somewhere in between. And then what I did at the time in my early 20s, like how do I make a decision? Just
flip a coin?
Flip a coin, basically. Like have a goal that was finishing my master's, and whatever that was, just do it. Okay. Just finish it. And that ended up being in Vienna.
Oh, wow.
And then I moved here, and I registered for a student dorm room, came to the dorm, and there were 3 Eminas. And on the same floor, there were 2 of us, and there was one on the floor above us. That was it. Emina, and then my roommate was from Bosnia.
Perfect. See, yeah, you just found your fellow Bosnians.
No, it's really insane because I think my roommate, she was from Bosnia.
Yeah.
And then there was another Emina from Bosnia on my floor, and then there were 2 other girls sharing a room from Serbia.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
See, you don't have to go far away.
I made basically the right choice because I didn't want to be too isolated, but I didn't want to be too surrounded. So I found the sweet spot.
You found the sweet spot. But I'm curious, at this point in your life, do you feel American at all?
I think it's just pure identity crisis. I don't think there's a feeling either or. I think that's one of the things I struggled with most throughout my life is basically, am I Bosnian or am I American? Mm-hmm. The answer to am I American is, for me at least, a no. I don't feel super Americanized.
Because you left quite early, right? Relatively.
I left early enough to not
have such a deep connection to the US.
Yeah, but then you have to imagine that I have a US passport, so it's also part of my identity still. Yeah. So yes, it's part of like my identity when I'm applying for anything for visa in Austria. I'm American. Yeah. They have no idea of my background.
Yeah, of course.
They can make 0 connections. I feel it especially because it's funny when I'm meeting someone for the first time and they're a complete stranger and they ask me, where are you from? And sometimes I just say one, I just say the other. Yeah. I don't really have a definite answer to this point. Maybe also depends on who I'm speaking to. If they're Balkan, of course, I'm going to say I'm also from Bosnia. But hey, by the way, I'm from America. But then if I'm, I don't know, for example, from work, like the most recent job, it's like, where are you from? I kind of more said, like, I'm American. Bosnian, but I also need,
specified
more the US because of my work experience. So that was also important, especially on my CV, etc. So to my manager, to my boss, I have worked in the United States. This is a big deal, let's say.
Yeah.
So for them, I'm American and I just sell it as is. And then I start working and sometimes it feels like I'm lying, which is a terrible feeling. But in essence, I'm not. But to me, it feels like I am.
Yeah.
Because
you're somewhere in between and you don't know exactly if that's
I'm somewhere in between.
Okay. But when you tell Americans that you do they even know Bosnian? That's what it is.
For sure not. So when I had my interview, so the ones who knew about Bosnia obviously were the ones who already knew us and my mom. But when I started working and I had my interview, they didn't know where it was.
Okay.
I think the CEO, so like the CEO of the company knew. Because he had an interaction at some point with Croatian, actually. So he knew the Balkan, but no one else knew. Like the workers beneath the CEO did not know. And none of my team members knew anything. So I remember we were having lunch and we were like, we were playing like hot and cold on the map of where Bosnia is actually located. So I was saying hot and cold, and he was trying.
No, this is China.
He was trying to. Yeah, exactly. That's how much they knew about it. And then my degree at the university, no one has ever heard about this. But if I could say anything, everyone was super opening to learning more about it and was super hyped that they had someone from Bosnia. So for any American that I meet on the street or like tourists, later, like I had interactions with American tourists in Croatia, and I said Bosnia, and they were like Boston.
Mm-hmm. Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston, Massachusetts. This is almost like.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Basically, they have no idea.
Okay.
Most of the time, it's very rare that they do.
Yeah, it's like a very small country, but on the other side, no one knows Austria as well. I mean, people. I mean, yeah,
True.
they might know Austria, but
No,
they know
true.
Vienna. They might know Vienna. By if they know something, then it might be Vienna.
Yeah, because it would be similar for you, right? When you go to the US or somewhere and you say you're Austrian, you don't really have a
Australia most of the time. But at some point, I was traveling a lot last year, and I got everything, and I just agreed to whatever they said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like Australia, sure. Thailand, sure. Everything was fine because you have conversation with people you mostly like never meet again. And I was just so tired of explaining, no, I'm Austrian, not Australia, Austrian. I was like, I also heard Kuwait one time. It was also the funniest thing because I said Korea and she understood Kuwait, and she was like, oh, Kuwait. I was like, okay, that's a bit far.
So you say that you're from Korea sometimes.
So I said my parents are Korean, and she said, oh, Kuwait. And I said, okay, Kuwait. A new one, haven't heard of this one before. So
no, I have to say when I quit my job in the US, I told them it was because I'm doing my master's in Austria and also
Australia, right away.
They had no idea, except for one person, but he happened to have family that
in
moved
Austria.
to Vienna.
To Vienna, okay.
So he knew about it a bit. And that.
Yeah, but usually they don't know.
Yeah. But in conclusion, huge identity crisis. It's $1 million question. I still don't have an answer to it. Where am I from?
Just say Boston, Massachusetts.
Maybe, yeah.
Say
I think it would be easy.
I'm Bosnia, Massachusetts. Where you from? Bosnia, Massachusetts.
Actually, I think everyone would just nod.
Not really. That's so nice. I've been there last week.
Yeah. You got it. You answered my question.
Yeah, Emina. So this is what you have to do from now on. Boston, Massachusetts.
Totally.
Okay. Great. Some final words from your side?
Final words.
Final words. Anything you wanted to say?
What do I want to say? Yeah, wherever it is, whatever you're doing, I don't know. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out eventually.
Wherever you are, whatever you want to do, don't think you're going to make it.
No, I wanted to say the opposite. You will figure it out. It will be fine.
You will figure it out eventually, but I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, before we end this podcast, your favorite Bosnian song or Bosnian musician?
A very, very famous song in my household.
Yeah.
Which is Hajde da ludujemo, which means let's get crazy, from Tajci.
Okay.
Which is a Croatian pop star rock.
Now you have three minutes to cover the music.
Hajde da ludujemo ove noći, ajde zaljubi se u moje oči. So basically my grandmother used to sing that to us ever since we moved back.
Lovely.
It was one of her top barbecue songs.
I didn't know that this list exists about top. What are your top 10 barbecue
songs? Every barbecue song, she would sing this song. And also worth mentioning, it was the first song that I learned word by word in Bosnian.
Oh, really? Okay, well, that means a lot.
To this day, given that I don't know any lyrics.
It's not only the top barbecue song is your first song you ever learned in Bosnian.
Yes, and probably only because I don't remember lyrics.
Okay, great.
So it's very special.
Okay.
And I hope someone can identify with this song.
Awesome. Then 3, 2, 1. It's a wrap. Bye-bye.
Bye.